Hi guys, today I'm thinking about the cheapest cities in Central America and Mexico. Mexico is a huge country, being 8 times larger than the UK, and it has a very broad range of cost of living, with the most expensive place being San Pedro Garza Garcia in the northeast of the country, which is 3.3 times more expensive than the least expensive place. We all know that Mexico is plagued by crime and corruption, but it is still a destination which has some attraction for US expats, with some 1 million Americans living in Mexico. The difference in cost of living is certainly a tempting factor when deciding if Mexico is worth relocating to, with the cost of living in the United States being an average of $2,515 per month, and the cheapest city in Mexico being 100 kilometers from the US-Mexico border, which has a cost of living which is 3.7 times less. In Central America, Panama is of course heavily influenced by the United States, but other than there, the world of Mexico and Central America can seem quite alien to US citizens, with some way to go on development, and the lack of proficiency of English being one of the big factors in their decision, with the percentage of English speakers in the countries on the list ranging between 5% and 18%, with the exception of Belize, which has a much higher percentage of English speakers of around 65% and is an official language there. This is coupled with only around 12% of native-born US citizens speaking a foreign language, which is the lowest in the Western world. So this sometimes sways their decision to countries with a higher proficiency of English, like for example the Philippines or Malaysia, or even choosing Europe, with the UK, Germany and Spain being the top 3 destinations for US retirees in Europe. Of course, there is a trade-off between cost of living and quality of life, as in any region of the world. But some of the cities on the list have quality of life scores that are easily comparable to many areas of the world which are popular with retirees. The cost of living in Central America and Mexico is certainly low when compared to the rest of the countries in the world, and if it wasn't for the largest economy in the world being in the vicinity, would more than likely be much lower. So if you are looking to travel or even relocate to the region, the cost of living may surprise you. The costs shown are for a single person per month. The first location on our list, at number 10, being the most expensive, is Mixco in Guatemala, with a cost of living of $720 in dollar per month, which is 533 in pound, and 616 in euro. Next at number 9 is Comayagua in Honduras, with 705 in dollar, 522 in pound, and 603 in euro. And at number 8 is Granada in Nicaragua, with 699 in dollar, 517 in pound, and 598 in euro. Next on the list at number 7 is Esteli in Nicaragua, with 687 in dollar, 508 in pound, and 587 in euro. And at number 6 is Matagalpa in Nicaragua, with 452 in dollar, 334 in pound, and 386 in euro. At number 5 is Jalapa in Mexico with 670 in dollar, 496 in pound, and 573 in euro. Then at number 4 is Choloma in Honduras with 668 in dollar, 494 in pound, and 571 in euro. In at number 3 is Zacatecas in Mexico with 664 in dollar, 491 in pound, and 568 in euro. And at number 2, our runner-up is La Ceiba in Honduras with 626 in dollar, 463 in pound, and 535 in euro. And topping our list of the top 10 cheapest cities is number 1, which is Jinotega in Nicaragua with a cost of living of only $470 per month, which is £348 per month, which is €402 per month. So that completes our list of the top 10 cheapest places in Central America and Mexico. So just on the spreadsheet here, so Jinotega is the cheapest city in Nicaragua with a cost of living which is $470 in dollar, $348 in pound, and $402 in euro, which is only 19.3% of the cost of living of the UK. And the food bill is the cheapest on our list with $247 in dollar, $183 in pound, and $211 in euro. And rent and utilities are the cheapest again on the list with $130 in dollar, £96 per month, and $111 in euro. So as we head down the table and the cost of living increases, we come to Guanajuato in Mexico, which has a quality of life score which is 59 out of 100, which is the highest on this list, and is tied with Culiacan in Mexico, and Morelia in Mexico. And San Juan del Sur in Nicaragua has the lowest quality of life score on this list at 22 out of 100. And then we come to the end of the table. We have Liberia in Costa Rica, which has the most expensive food on the list with $444 in dollar, $329 in pound, and $380 in euro. And there are two cities that are tied for the most expensive cost of living on the list, which is Aguascalientes in Mexico, which is $999 in dollar, $739 in pound, and $854 in euro. But this is still only 41.1% of the cost of living of the UK, which is the same as Reynosa in Mexico. And Aguascalientes has the most expensive rent and utilities on the list, with $468 in dollar, $346 in pound, and $400 in euro. So the outcome is that Jinotega in Nicaragua is the cheapest city in Central America and Mexico. Jinotega also has the cheapest food and rent and utilities on the list, There are 3 cities on the list which are tied for the highest quality of life score with 59 out of 100, which are Guanajuato in Mexico, Culiacan in Mexico, and Morelia in Mexico. San Juan del Sur in Nicaragua has the lowest quality of life score with just 22 out of 100. There are 2 cities which are tied for the highest cost of living on the list, which are just short of our $1,000 per month limit, which are Aguas Calientes in Mexico and Reynosa in Mexico. Aguas Calientes has the most expensive rent and utilities on the list. Liberia in Costa Rica has the highest cost for food on the list, with $444 per month, or £329, which is 380 in euro, which is nearly half of the cost of living. Which means the cost of food is disproportionately high here. The number of cheap cities in the region is much lower than in South America. For comparison, this region has 90 cities being less than $800 per month. South America has 84. This region has 8 being less than $700 per month. South America has 80. This region has 1 city being less than $600 per month, but South America has 46. And in South America, 9 cities are under $500, and 2 of them are even below $400 per month. So the conclusion is, if you're looking to travel or relocate south of the US border on a budget, there are many cities to choose from in Central America and Mexico. But the choice is much larger and much cheaper in South America. Okay guys, that was the cheapest cities in South America and Mexico. I'll see you on the next one.